For thousands of years, humanity has advanced. We've built civilizations, conquered oceans, decoded the stars. Yet the one frontier we still struggle to understand is ourselves. Inside every human being lives a storm, a force that can lift us toward greatness or drag us into chaos. A force that whispers in our emotions, shapes our desires, and drives decisions we swear we made logically, even when we didn't. You've seen this force in others. The friend who explodes with anger out of nowhere. The colleague who sabotages you with a smile. The charming leader who suddenly reveals a darker side. The partner who swears they love you but fears intimacy more than loneliness. You've seen it in yourself too. In the moments you regret, the words you shouldn't have said, the choices driven by envy, the impulses you couldn't resist, the masks you wore to hide who you really were. We all sense the invisible laws governing us, but few ever learn to see them clearly. Imagine if you could. Imagine decoding people the way a musician reads notes. Imagine seeing the hidden motives behind every smile, the wounds beneath every arrogance, the insecurity behind every attack, and the truth behind your own behavior. This is not a book about others. It is a mirror, a map, a weapon, a light in a world that often prefers darkness. This is the laws of human nature. You're listening to the book Sanctuary. Robert Greene, one of the most influential authors in psychology and strategy, spent years studying the hidden patterns behind human behavior. From emperors to artists, tyrants to saints, CEOs to soldiers, he discovered something uncomfortable. Humans are not driven by logic. We are driven by emotion, then justify with logic afterward. This book pulls back the curtain on those emotions. Across 18 laws, you'll hear the stories, psychology, and timeless patterns that shape the way people think, feel, act, and react. But this audiobook isn't simply a summary. It's a cinematic journey through the human heart and mind. You'll feel the rise of irrationality, the quiet ache of envy, the seduction of power, the masks people wear to survive, the compulsions that dictate our lives, and the deep longing behind every action. By the end of the story, you will not just understand people, you will see them clearly, deeply, and without illusion. And perhaps, for the first time, you'll see yourself. Let's begin. Chapter 1. Master your emotional self. The law of irrationality. Every human believes they are rational. But the truth? You live your life riding the waves of your emotions. Anger, desire, fear, insecurity, excitement. And only afterward do you wrap those feelings in the blanket of logic. Robert Greene opens with the story of Pericles, the Athenian leader whose calm, rational mind stood out like a lighthouse in a raging sea. While others rushed into war fueled by pride and ego, Pericles saw reality as it was, not as he felt it. And for decades, Athens prospered under his guidance. But after his death, Athens collapsed into emotional chaos, reckless decisions, and ultimately destruction. This is the same pattern in our lives. Your emotions are ancient, primitive, hardwired by evolution. They push you toward impulsive choices that feel good now, but hurt later. The person who snaps at their partner doesn't realize they're reliving childhood wounds. The worker who sabotages his own success doesn't see how fear of responsibility controls him. The leader who declares war thinks it's strategy, but it's insecurity. We all carry a Pericles within us, the rational mind, and a mob within us, the emotional mind. Most people let the mob rule. To master this law, step back when you feel strong emotion. Name it: anger, fear, envy, excitement. Let the storm pass before you act. Replace reaction with reflection. Rationality is not coldness. It is power. The power to choose your responses instead of being ruled by them. This is where your journey begins, learning to observe your emotions instead of obeying them. Chapter 2. Transform self-love into empathy. The law of narcissism. Every newborn is a pure narcissist. They believe the world exists to serve their needs. Most adults grow out of this stage, but many don't. In Greene's view, narcissism exists on a spectrum, from healthy self-respect to fragile self-obsession to full-blown emotional black holes. You've met the types. The deep narcissist, charming at first, then draining every drop of your emotional energy. The passive narcissist, always the victim, always needing saving. The approval addict, living for likes, compliments, validation. The aggressive narcissist, grandiose, controlling, hungry for admiration. But here's the uncomfortable truth. We all carry some degree of narcissism. It is part of being human. The goal is not to eliminate it. The goal is to transform it. When you reduce your obsession with yourself, you begin to see others clearly. Their fears, their hopes, their wounds. their desires. Empathy is not softness. It is strategy. Because when you understand people at a deep emotional level, you unlock influence, connection, and trust. To win in life, Greene says, shift your attention outward. Become sincerely curious about others. Every person you meet is fighting a silent battle you know nothing about. See that battle, and you will see their heart. Chapter 3. See through people's masks. The law of role-playing. People wear masks. At work, in relationships, online, in society. Masks of confidence, charm, humility, intelligence, vulnerability. But behind every mask is a truth they fear to reveal. Humans are the best actors in nature. We hide our insecurities, desires, resentments, ambitions, because showing them would make us vulnerable. So how do you see reality? By learning the second language. Not words, but body language, tone, microexpressions, behavior patterns, and inconsistencies. A smile may hide contempt. Warmth may hide manipulation. Confidence may hide fear. Generosity may hide control. Greene teaches you to observe. Tension around the eyes. Forced laughter. Overeagerness to impress. Sudden changes in tone. Emotional flashes that don't match the situation. People reveal themselves in the smallest cracks of their performance. Just like an actor breaking character, the goal is not to judge or attack. It is to understand. Because once you see who someone really is, you know how to protect yourself or how to connect with them in a way that's real. Masks hide pain. Masks hide longing. Masks hide weakness. See the person beneath the mask, and you'll possess a superpower most never develop. Chapter 4. Determine the strength of people's character. The law of compulsive behavior. Character is not what people say. Character is what people repeatedly do. Every one of us carries a pattern. A script written in childhood, shaped by experiences, reinforced over years, performed unconsciously. Some people are stable. Some are unpredictable. Some generous. Some vindictive. Some resilient. Some fragile. And the signs are always there. In how people treat those with less power. How they respond to stress. How they behave when disappointed. How they handle praise. How they take responsibility or avoid it. Greene warns of toxic types. The drama magnet. Life is always chaos, and they want to pull you in. The passive aggressor smiling outside, seething inside. The controller uses guilt, pressure, fear. The excuse maker. Nothing is ever their fault. The eternal victim drains energy and avoids growth. The envious saboteur, secretly rooting for your failure. People rarely change their core patterns, not because they can't, but because they don't see themselves clearly enough to do so. Your task is not to fix people. Your task is to judge character early, then choose wisely who you trust, follow, partner with, or love. And within yourself, identify your own patterns, the habits that sabotage you, the fears that control you, the behaviors that repeat like echoes from your past. Character is destiny. Build a strong one, and you shape a destiny you can be proud of. Chapter 5. Become an awareness machine. The law of covetousness. Human desire is a strange force. We rarely want what we already have. We want what we lack, what we imagine, what glows with mystery and distance. Robert Greene calls this the vacuum effect of desire. The mind gravitates toward what it cannot touch. This is why people chase forbidden love. Why workers envy the CEO without understanding the cost. Why we want the life we don't live, the beauty we don't possess, the things others praise. Desire makes us irrational. Greene uses the story of Queen Caroline and King George IV. A marriage where the king, after initially having her, suddenly lost interest. His desire wasn't for her. His desire was for the idea of her. Once reality replaced fantasy, the desire evaporated. This is human nature. We all project fantasies onto people and objects. We believe the next relationship, the next job, the next city will finally fill the void. But the truth is deeper. Desire is never about the object. It is about the imagination behind it. To navigate this law, don't be seduced by what looks shiny. Don't assume another life is better than your own. Don't chase what others chase just because they chase it. Understand your desires, or they will control you. The wise don't reject desire. They study it, master it, and never let the fantasy blind them to reality. Chapter 6. Elevate your perspective. The law of short-sightedness. Humans have a fatal flaw. We live in the moment and sacrifice the future. Greene illustrates this with the tragedy of the South Sea Bubble, a financial catastrophe driven by greed and frenzy. Investors saw only immediate profit, not long-term consequences. This is the same flaw behind impulsive spending, Reckless decisions, explosive arguments, ruined relationships, abandoned dreams, addictions, sabotaged careers. The emotional mind sees only what is right in front of it. It cannot imagine tomorrow. But leaders, visionaries, and successful people share one trait: long-term vision. To apply this law, when emotions rise, zoom out. See the consequences before they arrive. Value slow growth over quick thrills. Choose strategies that last. Life becomes less chaotic when you stop living in reaction and start living with intention. The great thinkers of history, from Marcus Aurelius to modern innovators, were not just intelligent. They were farsighted. They saw beyond the moment. And you can too. Chapter 7. Soften people's resistance, the law of defensiveness. Humans resist pressure, not just physical, but emotional, psychological, conversational. The more you push an idea on someone, the more they pull away. This is why arguments escalate, why persuasion fails, why relationships collapse, why influence slips through your fingers. Greene introduces the concept of infection by influence, the subtle art of softening defenses so people voluntarily move toward you. Think of Abraham Lincoln. He never forced agreement. He listened. He made people feel understood. And only then did he persuade the nation. The key is simple. Stop confronting. Start guiding. Stop demanding. Start suggesting. Stop arguing. Start understanding. People don't resist truth. They resist pressure. Lower their guard, and you enter their mind without a fight. This law teaches emotional tact, the ability to reach people where logic alone cannot. Influence is not force. Influence is invisible persuasion. Chapter 8. Change your circumstances by changing your attitude. The law of self-sabotage. There's a pattern in life. Some people thrive in chaos. Others create it. Some succeed. Others destroy their own chances. Greene explains that people rarely sabotage themselves consciously. Instead, they are shaped by deep emotional patterns formed in childhood. The fear of failure, the fear of success, the fear of disappointment, the need to be liked, the fear of responsibility, the belief that they don't deserve happiness. These hidden scripts play out in choices. Choosing the wrong partner again and again, quitting just before success, creating conflict where none existed, running from opportunities, falling back into old habits. Self-sabotage is invisible until you shine a light on it. To break this law, observe your self-defeating patterns. Ask where they came from. Replace emotional reactions with conscious decisions. You cannot change your life until you change the behaviors that run beneath the surface. And the moment you recognize your pattern, you begin to rewrite your destiny. Chapter 9. Confront your dark side. The law of repression. Every person carries a shadow. The parts of themselves they deny, fear, hide, or refuse to acknowledge. These repressed emotions don't disappear. They grow stronger. They leak out in strange ways. Sudden anger, passive aggression, addictions, insecurity, jealousy, anxiety, depression, cruelty, self-harm, impulsive behavior. Greene draws from Carl Jung's idea of the shadow self, the darker forces we suppress out of fear or shame. Your shadow may contain forbidden anger, jealousy, ambition, desire, resentment, vulnerability, hunger for power, fear of rejection. Ignoring your shadow is dangerous. Facing it is liberating. To master this law, don't deny your darker emotions. Understand them. Integrate your shadow instead of fighting it. Turn repressed energy into creativity and ambition. Great leaders, artists, and thinkers were not pure souls. They were people who transformed their shadows into strength. The goal is not to be perfect, but to be whole. Chapter 10. Beware the fragile ego. The law of envy. Envy is one of the oldest emotions in humanity. It is quiet, hidden, poisonous, and universal. People envy what they lack: talent, beauty, success, attention, confidence, purpose, relationships, freedom. But envy rarely announces itself openly. Instead, it wears masks: sudden criticism, undermining comments, fake compliments, passive aggression, subtle sabotage, unexplained distance, forced advice. Greene explains that envy is painful because it forces people to confront their own inadequacies. That pain turns into resentment, and resentment turns into action. You felt envy too. Everyone has. It doesn't make you weak. It makes you human. But you must manage it. To protect yourself, watch for micro-expressions of bitterness. Avoid bragging or flaunting success. Surround yourself with secure people. Distance yourself from those who subtly undermine you. To transform your own envy, Turn comparison into inspiration. Study those you envy. Learn, don't resent. Redirect the energy into self-improvement. Envy can destroy lives or fuel greatness. The choice is yours. Chapter 11. Know your limits. The law of grandiosity. There's a dangerous moment in every person's life. The moment success arrives. Because success, no matter how small or large, whispers a seductive lie. You are special. You are exceptional. You deserve more than others. This is the beginning of grandiosity. The inflation of the ego. The illusion that your achievements came from destiny, brilliance, or superiority, instead of effort, timing, and opportunity. Robert Greene explains grandiosity through historical figures who rose like fireworks, only to explode, because their ego grew faster than their wisdom. When people become grandiose, they ignore advice, overestimate their abilities, take reckless risks, alienate allies, chase unrealistic goals, detach from reality, fall into dramatic public collapse. Success becomes their downfall. But there is another path. A path followed by masters in every field. Grounded ambition. This means celebrating victories, but staying humble. Recognizing the role of luck and timing. Keeping mentors and critics close. Grounding your dreams with strategy. Letting success sharpen your discipline, not soften it. Grandiosity blinds. Humility clarifies. If you want to rise and stay rising, you must keep your ego on a leash and your vision anchored in reality. Chapter 12. Reconnect to the masculine or feminine within you. The law of gender rigidity. Human psychology cannot be boxed into rigid masculine and feminine stereotypes. Inside every man lives softness, intuition, creativity. Inside every woman lives assertiveness, logic, ambition, and power. Throughout history, societies tried to suppress this duality, shaping men into unfeeling rocks and women into obedient shadows. But Greene argues that true power lies in embracing both sides of your nature. He illustrates this through the story of Coco Chanel, who revolutionized fashion not by rejecting femininity, but by blending masculine freedom with feminine elegance. To master this law, men must embrace vulnerability, intuition, emotional expression, flexibility, softness without weakness. Women must embrace assertiveness, analytical thinking, independence, courage, ambition without apology. The goal is not to become someone else. It is to become whole. Strength without empathy is brutality. Empathy without boundaries is self-destruction. Logic without emotion is coldness. Emotion without logic is chaos. True power comes from balance. Chapter 13. Advance with a sense of purpose. The law of aimlessness. Humans love to think we are independent, but place us in a group, a crowd, a workplace, a community, and suddenly a new force takes over. Greene explains that group behavior is ancient. When humans lived in tribes, survival required unity. This instinct still lives inside us. We sync with group emotions. We adopt group beliefs. We mirror group behavior. We get pulled into collective moods. Fear, anger, excitement, outrage. This is why mobs erupt. Online hatred spreads. Political extremes rise. Trends explode overnight. Companies collapse from internal conflict. Friendships dissolve under group pressure. Families shape our identity more than we admit. To master this law, you must develop group intelligence, the ability to read group dynamics like a map. Ask yourself, who holds real power here? What unspoken rules control the group? Who influences whom? What emotional forces shape the group? What role am I unconsciously playing? When you understand groups, you stop being pulled by the tide and start steering your own ship. Most people lose themselves in the group. The wise navigate the group without surrendering their individuality. Chapter 14. Resist the downward pull. The law of conformity. Conformity is one of the strongest forces in human nature. We want to fit in. We want to belong. We want approval. We fear being the outsider. This instinct came from evolution. To be cast out of the tribe meant death. But in the modern world, conformity kills individuality, creativity, and personal destiny. Greene uses the story of the Asch conformity experiments, where ordinary people agreed with obviously wrong answers, just to avoid standing out. This happens every day. You stay silent when you disagree. You follow trends without thinking. You let group opinions shape yours. You sacrifice your truth for acceptance. You follow a career path chosen by others. You suppress your dreams to avoid judgment. Conformity is comfortable but costly. To master this law, you must cultivate inner independence. Dare to think differently. Speak your truth with calm strength. Value authenticity over approval. Choose principles over popularity. Resist the emotional pull of the crowd. Walk alone when necessary. Because every great thinker, every inventor, icon, leader, artist, revolutionary, stood apart from the group before they stood above it. Your life becomes extraordinary the moment you stop living for permission. Chapter 15. Make them want to follow you. The law of fickleness. People are fickle. Their loyalty shifts. Their enthusiasm fades. Their support crumbles. This is not because they are bad. It's because humans are emotional creatures, and emotions change. Greene explores how leaders throughout history have struggled with this truth. The crowds that once cheered them turned against them. The followers who swore loyalty betrayed them. Why? Because most leaders rely on external authority. Titles, power, fear, rules. But true authority comes from within. It comes from authenticity, vision, empathy, and strength. People follow those who make them feel something. Inspired, protected, understood, elevated. To master this law, don't demand loyalty. Earn it. Don't control people. Lead them. Don't manipulate emotions. Connect with them. The greatest leaders are not the loudest. They are the most authentic. When people follow you because they want to, not because they have to, you possess a power that titles can never give. Chapter 16. See the hostility behind the friendly facade. The law of aggression. Humans are not naturally peaceful. We are naturally polite, which is very different. Politeness hides conflict. It masks resentment. It suppresses frustration. It avoids confrontation until pressure becomes too much. Greene argues that aggression appears in three forms. First, passive aggression. The most common. Silent resentment. Backhanded compliments. Deliberate forgetfulness. Hidden sabotage. Second, assertive aggression. Clear boundaries. Direct feedback. Honest confrontation. Healthy conflict resolution. Third, cold predatory aggression. The rarest. Calculated harm, manipulation, cruelty. Most people fear aggression, so they repress it until it leaks out destructively. The powerful learn to channel aggression productively, asserting themselves clearly, confronting issues early, protecting boundaries, defending their values, rejecting disrespect, speaking their truth. Aggression is not the enemy. Uncontrolled aggression is. When you master this law, you stop being a victim of silent hostility and become a person who commands respect without raising your voice. Chapter 17. Seize the historical moment. The law of generational myopia. Every generation believes it is unique, different, superior, more enlightened than the last. But Greene warns that this belief blinds us. We repeat the same mistakes our ancestors made, just with different technology, different clothing, different language. History moves in cycles. Every cycle is shaped by rising generations, declining generations, rebellion, conformity, innovation, complacency, crisis, renewal. To see clearly, you must step outside the illusions of your own era. Most people are trapped by trends, social pressures, political narratives, cultural expectations, temporary values, fads, and waves of opinion. They cannot see beyond the noise of the moment. The wise, however, rise above the present and view humanity across centuries, not days. When you see patterns across time, you stop being a prisoner of the moment. You develop what Greene calls historical empathy, the ability to understand people from the past, understand the forces shaping your present, predict the future without guessing, resist the madness of crowds, choose values that endure. You stop reacting. You start understanding. Every era has blind spots. This law teaches you to see them. The greatest minds, from Leonardo da Vinci to Nelson Mandela, were not just products of their time. They transcended their time. And now you can too. Chapter 18. Meditate on our common mortality. The law of death denial. Everything living moves toward an ending. Everything breathing is temporary. Everything we love, everything we build, everything we fight for exists inside the boundaries of time. Most people avoid this truth. They bury it. They deny it. They distract themselves from it. But Greene makes a profound argument. A person who denies death denies life. When you embrace mortality, your priorities sharpen. Your relationships deepen. Your fear reduces. Your gratitude grows. Your creativity intensifies. Your purpose becomes urgent. Your ego dissolves. Your compassion expands. The fear of death is replaced by the gift of clarity. We only have so many moments, so many chances, so many beginnings. Knowing this doesn't make life darker. It makes it brighter, more fragile, more precious. Greene tells the story of Flannery O'Connor, who wrote some of her finest work while battling a fatal illness. Facing death didn't weaken her. It sharpened her vision and gave her work a timeless, haunting power. Mortality is the great equalizer, but it is also the great awakener. It reminds us, be kind because time is short. Create because your voice won't echo forever. Forgive because grudges waste life. Pursue your purpose because postponing is a luxury you cannot afford. Love deeply because nothing is guaranteed. When you accept the final law, the law of death, you finally start living. Every chapter you've heard, every law you've explored, every story, lesson, and insight in this journey reveals a simple truth. Human nature is not your enemy. Ignorance of human nature is. These laws don't control you. They free you. They help you see people as they are, not as you wish they were. They pull back the masks, disarm illusions, and give you the tools to navigate any relationship, any conflict, any ambition. You now understand why people act irrationally, why they wear masks, why envy poisons, why groups distort identity, why ego destroys, why purpose elevates, why fear limits, and why mortality awakens. These laws are not theories. They are the emotional physics of humanity, invisible forces shaping your world every single day. When you understand them, you stop being confused by others and start being powerful within yourself. Your life becomes clearer, your decisions sharper, your goals stronger, your relationships deeper, your conflicts easier to navigate, your purpose easier to follow. You become someone impossible to manipulate, impossible to mislead, impossible to deceive, because you see what others cannot. And ultimately, you become capable of living with a strength, a clarity, and a compassion that few ever achieve. If this story moved you, if these insights opened something inside you, and if you want more journeys like this one, stories that transform your thinking and awaken your soul, subscribe to the Book Sanctuary. Let the world of words inspire your soul. This has been the Laws of Human Nature. Thank you for listening.